Hello Gemini, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection, so we've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is really looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Gemini, let's dive in. On your side of this connection, you have someone has unmet needs with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. There's a lack of balance. From your perception, there's a lack of balance in this connection. I feel like it could be like you're the giver, the other person is the taker, or you're always making sacrifices, or you're the one always communicating, or you're the one always compromising, but just feeling like you're never really receiving that back from the other person. And in turn, I feel like the connection and the dynamic has really become about, making sure that the other person's needs are met and that, they're happy, but maybe not so much prioritizing your own needs and happiness. Now, this person may have inconsistencies with the world here. I feel like this person they have a cycle in this connection. I feel like it could be a cycle of, showing up, having all this love for you, and then maybe pulling back, and then you're left wondering what's going on, or like sometimes they're meeting your needs, but other times they're not. Like there's inconsistencies in their words and their behavior. Like, I love you, I care about you, but then the next day, they're doing things that doesn't make you feel that way. And I feel like it's created this cycle of, kind of being okay with how the person has, with the imbalance in the connection, because this person either says that they're going to change, or that things are going to change, or that they're going to get better, or whatever the case is, but then they never do. And I feel like that's where there is some sort of cycle that is repeating over and over in this connection. I feel like it's a cycle with how this person acts. Now, in between the connection, you have trust the universe with the death card here. So the universe is saying, trust the universe. Spirit is saying, trust the universe when it comes to attracting, receiving the love that you're truly deserving and desiring of, but also getting into also letting the cycle end. It doesn't necessarily mean that the connection needs to end, but there is definitely an intense cycle that is keeping you from the love that you are desiring and ultimately deserving of. Overall theme of the reading is you deserve love, and then it says you are lovable. And I feel like this connection makes you feel the opposite, maybe that you're not deserving of love, or that you can't have the love that you deserve, or whatever the case is. But that's just it's not a truth, it's a cycle. And I feel like that's what we want to kind of learn to separate, is that what we've experienced is not what's possible for us. So what I mean by that is, if you've experienced a lack of love, or failed connections, or people not loving you or not showing up for you, that doesn't mean that that's all you're ever going to be able to experience. That's just all you have experienced. So what's possible for you is going to be vastly different than what you have been through. But we tend to expect what we've experienced. So if you've experienced, always having a lack of balance in your connections, or connections that make you feel unlovable, then you're going to say, well, this is as good as things will ever get. So you're going to stay stuck in cycles that repeat this dynamic, because in your mind, you can't have anything better, right? Which is understandable, but we want to figure out how to get you off of that kind of wheel, off that cycle. All right, but let's see. Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Someone has unmet needs with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. This is Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. I feel like I can already tell that I do think that this person cares about you. I do. I don't think that there's a lack of I don't feel like this person is necessarily taking advantage of you. Well, right out of the freaking gate, 6 of Pentacles in reverse, like literally lack of reciprocation. So there's definitely an energy of you giving or being, just showing up for the connection way more than you're receiving. With the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, this is a karmic cycle. This is very much a karmic cycle for you. Being on the, kind of always getting the short end of the stick. Being the one who's always giving, who's always showing up, but never, ever really receiving that energy. Which is just constantly leaving you with your needs being unmet. Which ultimately is going to lead you to wondering if you're deserving of having your needs met. And I feel like that's why you have the you deserve love, because you do deserve to have your needs met, but you've just been taught that it's not possible or that you can't have that. Okay. Gemini side of the connection. So, 2 of Pentacles in reverse and 6 of Pentacles in reverse, it's 2 cards of imbalance in this connection. Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. The 7 of Pentacles. But boy, do you keep showing up for this 7 of Pentacles with the Page of Swords. I feel like you are, you've invested and continued to invest, or have been willing to invest a lot into this connection, because I feel like you do have a lot of love and a lot of care for this person, and I feel like you're trying to show up in the best way that you know how to make this connection work, but it just feels like the other person is not, and that can be very frustrating, because then we can start to feel like it all falls on us, right? Like you're the one always having to, basically you're the one holding the connection together, is what it feels like, and your willingness to accept less than what you're giving is part of maintaining the connection itself. And I think that, especially with this Page of Swords, I think that this is this need to kind of be willing to cut through the static of what, is on the surface and kind of get to the deeper dynamic here, because I do definitely feel like this is definitely give or taker. I did another reading recently, I don't remember what sign it was, that had a similar dynamic, but this is very much give or taker. Sometimes we fall into roles in our relationships, and typically it's usually the role of the giver or the role of the taker. And the giver is going to give everything that they have. They're going to show up for the connection, they're going to love the other person unconditionally, they're going to be there, they're going to do everything to make the connection work, and the taker is going to take. They're going to take all that. They're going to say, thanks for the love, thanks for the effort, thanks. But they're not going to reciprocate, because they fall into the role of the taker, which creates this dynamic that says their needs are more important than yours, because the sake of the foundation, or I guess in order for the connection to work, this person's needs have to be met regardless of whether or not yours are. And I feel like that dynamic has created this lack of balance of you having your needs met. Meaning that the dynamic, it's always about them, and it's not about you, but it should be about you too. I just feel like it's become so much about them. This Page of Swords is interesting. I actually want to clarify this Page of Swords. I feel like I just said that and said the same thing in a few different ways, but I'm trying to figure out the best way to verbalize this. Okay, clarifying this Page of Swords here. The 3 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so it's literally like, if you're not sacrificing, this connection would fall apart. Because it's the foundation is on the dynamic that this person's needs are met, but yours aren't. So, okay, yeah, I had it right. All right. And there you are, Queen of Swords. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. All right, Gemini side. I'm going to reshuffle because I just did that to clarify. Gemini side of the connection to the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. See, I feel like you're both feet in. You've been fully committed to this. And I just feel like there's been a severe lack of commitment from this person. That's where that inconsistencies come from. Because I'm not saying they never show up. I feel like there could be, they probably show up just enough to keep you giving. I bet is what it is. I bet it's just this bare minimum, like they give what you need so that you continue to show up, hoping that eventually things are going to get better. So like you start to get tired. You're like, man, I can't give any more to this. And this other person is like, okay, here's a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay. Okay, so you keep giving, but then it falls back to the old dynamic. Gemini cited connection to the person they are dealing with. Moon. Ooh, okay, hang on. I want to clarify this moon. I think I know what it's saying, but I want to add on to it a little bit. Yeah, okay, hang on. Just double check. Strength in reverse. Oh, wow, that's a lot more than I expected. Okay, yeah, I definitely needed to clarify because this added on a lot. So, moon clarified by hangman, 10 of wands, 3 of swords, strength in reverse. See, so this connection brings up a lot of fear for you because you're fully committed. You're giving, right? You're showing up, giving everything you have, but not receiving a whole lot back. And that's striking this fear in you that, oh my gosh, if everything that I have to give isn't enough for me to be loved in the way that I deserve, does that mean I'm never going to be loved in the way that I deserve? I can tell you right now the answer to that is no. You deserve love. You are lovable, okay? But this connection, it's almost like it makes you feel not good enough. With a strength in reverse, it makes you feel not good enough. And it brings up with the 3 of swords, like it's very painful in those moments where you feel like nothing I do is enough. No matter how much I try, no matter how committed I am, no matter how loyal I am, no matter how much I try to communicate or I try to be open or I try to be vulnerable or I it just feels like it doesn't matter because you are consistently getting the short end of the stick. It's like you're trying to get this person it's like you're trying to love them into loving you the way you deserve. And the more that they don't love you the way that you deserve, the more that you start to wonder, am I even enough to ever be loved? Like it affects those deeper beliefs, right? That say I'm unlovable, I'm not good enough. And that's why with this 10 of wands, I feel like this has become a very, first of all, I feel like that's why you're so willing to bear the burden of the connection, because with the 2 of cups here, like you have a lot of love for this person. And I feel like there's a part of you, it's like, well, it's worth it, right? If I can just love this person, be there for them, it's worth it if things change. It's worth it if eventually this starts to reciprocate. It's worth it if eventually, I start to get what it is that I deserve. But that's not the way that things work, and that's the hard part. That's where we have to understand that what we're willing to accept is the dynamic that we've created. And until we're willing to break out of that dynamic by choosing ourselves, breaking the cycle, because it's like you're waiting on them to break the cycle. You're waiting on, because the cycle is you giving, them taking, and you not getting what you need. You're not getting what you deserve. And you're waiting on them to break that, on them to change or to finally make the decision to show up for it in the way that you deserve. When in reality, I think this is about you breaking that cycle. It's always more about what's within our control, what's within our power, and not so much what's in the control of others, which we have a tendency to give that control over when we do really love and care about someone because we want it to work. So in our mind, we're like, well, the only way for this to ever work is if this person changes or if they show up differently or if they heal or grow or whatever the case is. But that's, you've equated this connection working or this person changing to you being able to ever receive the love that you deserve and desire. This person is like a reflection of that belief. So that's why I feel like it affects you in such a deep way. This person's energy toward Gemini, inconsistencies with the world. This person's energy toward Gemini. The world and the Knight of Swords. So it's a push-pull. It's a push-pull. Because I feel like what happens, is this person, it's like as soon as you get close or as soon as things start to like vibe, if you will, they're like, oh, this is scary. I don't know what to do. And they like push you away. Like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know how to give and receive love in a healthy way. Therefore, the only thing I know how to do is to push love away. I will say, I talk a lot about attachment styles and really learning to understand and ultimately heal your attachment style. This is very much like avoidant attachment kind of energy. Like wanting love, craving love, desiring love, yet as soon as it's presented to you, going into fear protective mode. That's their cycle. This person's cycle is running. They run from the connection. So that's why it's inconsistent, because they do crave love. And I said I do feel like this person does love and care about you. I don't feel like they're just like taking advantage of you. I feel like it freaks them out. It's like they're like, oh, this is, this person loves me. I don't feel deserving of love and I don't know what to do, so I'm going to run away from it because it's easier. This is a little different than the other giver-taker dynamic that I did, because the taker felt a little different in the other reading. But I do feel like with their cycle is running. They push you away, and then you're doing whatever you can to pull them back in. You pull them back in, they run away, and it's just like you're constantly doing everything you can to make the connection work. And basically what it is, it's like I don't want to necessarily like relate it to fishing, but it's like you catch the fish, you reel it in, and then the fish is like, and it swims away, and you're like, no, come on, and you catch the fish again, and then it's like, and it swims away. It's like you're doing all the work to reel it in. Not like it sounds like you're trying to like capture this person or something. That's not what I'm saying. But I do very much feel like it's like you're trying, to pull this person close because you know that they care about you. You feel love, or you feel like this connection could be really good. You feel like you love them, and then it feels like it never becomes what it is that is needed, because you're the one you're constantly trying to make sure this person doesn't run or do whatever you can to like keep this person around, which is another way to say chasing. So chaser-runner dynamic, I think, for sure. But it's hard because we chase because we see potential, right? People chase. They chase love or whatever the case is, because it's like, well, you probably get glimpses. You get glimpses in this person's inconsistencies of what they could be, or, what they're capable of. But then they don't show up as that person all the time. In fact, I feel like they show up as that person just enough to keep you hanging on and keep you giving, and then they pull back. And I don't think this is something this person is doing like consciously. I don't think they're sitting there like, okay, I'm going to give just enough so that Gemini keeps giving, and then as soon as they start giving, I'm going to pull back again. Like, I don't think that that's their thought process. Remember, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way we interact with our reality is conscious level decision making, meaning the majority of our decisions are really driven by the part of us that the part of us where our limiting beliefs are stored. The beliefs that we are unlovable or undeserving or not good enough or not capable, or that love isn't possible, or that love equals pain. We've come to internalize these beliefs based on what we've experienced. So those beliefs come out, in particular in our relationships, and if we aren't aware of them, we will let them control us. So that's where we get into a chaser-runner dynamic, where you're constantly being pulled to proving your worth and proving your value to someone who is constantly making you question it. And I feel like that's what keeps happening here. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. This person's energy toward Gemini, please. Maybe. Feels a little specific. The sun. Oh, as soon as I picked it up, it was like, it's in reverse. The sun in reverse, justice in reverse. Ooh, This person's very driven by their ego. Now, our ego is not to be demonized, okay? It's the part of us that is meant to, that is literally, its goal is to keep us safe. It's our lizard brain. Its goal is survival, keep us alive. The problem lies in the ego when we allow it to make decisions for us that maybe aren't actually in our best interest. So for instance, pushing love away, because love spikes fight or flight. It makes them feel uncomfortable. They don't feel lovable. They don't feel deserving. They don't know what to do. So ego kicks in. I'm going to do whatever I can to push this connection away, to keep this person at a distance, even though deep down in my soul and in my heart, I actually crave the closeness, because on the deep level of every human being, we all crave connection. So it's like they want that, right? They want that, but then they get afraid and they push it away. Now, here's the problem. This person's dealing with this internal push and pull, okay? I want love, but I'm scared of it. I push it away. I want it, but then I don't know how to, whatever. They're dealing with that. It's coming out in the connection as if they're pushing and pulling away from you. So you're reading it through the lens of your fears, doubts, and insecurities, and you're saying, what am I doing to make this person not commit? Or what am I doing to push this person away? Or why is this person inconsistent? Why am I not good enough? Why am I not valuable enough? And then you continue to show up more to try to make that person more consistent, to say, look, I'm valuable, you should stay, or you should invest, or you should, love me the way that I deserve. And that's where you have to understand that this person's decisions, their inconsistencies, it has nothing to do with your value and everything to do with them. Their inner world, the way that they perceive love, and the way that they're handling this connection is about their own karmic cycles that they're dealing with. So I think that that's where you have to learn to separate empathy from tolerance, okay? You can have empathy for understanding, because maybe you already know this. Maybe you're like, yes, I know this person runs. I know that they feel unlovable, blah, 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 blah. You can have empathy for that. But that does not mean you are expected to tolerate the behavior that is a result of that. In fact, I encourage you not to, because what that does is that, again, sets a precedent for the connection. We determine our value by the treatment that we are willing to accept. I'm going to say that again. We determine our value by the treatment that we are willing to accept. And if you continue to accept less than what you deserve, you are saying, this is all I'm deserving of. This is my value. Now, of course, on some level, you're hoping that things change, right? But it's about what we accept, not what we hope for. Okay? So yes, you can look at all of the ways that this person needs to heal and the things that they need to do, but you have no control over any of that, and you deserve love, right? At the end of the day, this is about how can we get you into the connections that know how to love you the way that you deserve to be loved. Okay? That's the goal for my readings. It's not just to spy on this person and see what they're up to. It's to figure out what's within your control and within your power so that you can ultimately create what it is that you're looking for. All right, this person's energy toward Gemini. This person's energy toward Gemini, please. Okay. So one of the reasons that I like doing my readings this way, the story is going to relate to the reading, so bear with me. The reasons that I like doing my love readings this way is because I've been on all sides of these types of connections. I've been on the taker side, I've been on the giver side, and I finally, luckily, through a lot of healing and a lot of self-love, have learned how to have a healthy reciprocal relationship. But I used to be this person. I used to be very much an avoidant attachment style, would push people away, would always find excuses to run. But then as soon as I would run and the other person would, walk away, I would then do whatever I could to try to get them back. And that was my anxious avoidant was kind of what I was dealing with. And in my current relationship, these habits start to come up. There are times where I have to be so consciously aware of saying, Gabby, stop trying to push away love. Let this person love you. Let them in. There will be times where I literally have to force myself to show up, allowing myself to receive the love that I'm getting, because my instinct is push it away, run from it, to sabotage. And I literally have to learn not to do that. And it gets easier with time. But I say that because I think that level of awareness is something that I have had to work very, very hard for. I've had to face, first of all, I had to become aware that I was even doing that. Okay. In my relationships, I wasn't aware of the things that I was doing in the past. It wasn't actually until I got on this side of things because I was the taker first, and then I healed a little bit, and then I became the giver. It wasn't until I got on this side of things that I realized, really what was going on. and started to actually do some deeper healing. But I say all of that to say that it's almost like this person is, if someone is finding a reason to push away somebody else, they're going to find them. I could come up with a million reasons why my significant other isn't good enough for me. Now, that's not actually true. I don't think that I could do that. But what I'm getting at is, like, if you go looking for reasons to push somebody away, like, you're going to find them. And you're going to use those reasons to try to basically justify you sabotaging yourself, okay? That I feel like is very much what this person is doing. It's almost like when, something is a little off, or there's an argument, or there's a little bit of instability, or there's a lack of whatever the case is, it's like this person is always looking for reasons to run. So you're essentially expected to be perfect, to not have needs, to not have desires, and just make sure that you are making this person happy at all times, because if you don't, they might run away. That's not healthy. And that's not what you deserve. You deserve someone who's willing to work with you to make the connection work, that's willing to show up just as much as you are to work through problems or situations that, that it takes two. Something popped in my head. I was thinking about how, I'd always if I would speak up about my needs. And there have been a couple of times in past relationships I'd spoken up about my needs or saying that I needed something, and the other person would walk away from the connection. They'd be like, I can't do that, I'm sorry, and they'd walk away. And then I'd be like, man, I wish I never said anything. I wish I just would have kept it all to myself. But I learned that speaking our truth and standing up for what we deserve and being honest about what we need is going to weave out the wrong people and open ourselves up to the right people. So don't be afraid to ask to have your needs met. And if it falls on deaf ears, do something about it. Allow yourself to decide for yourself what your value is, instead of allowing this person to determine what your value is by however they decide to treat you, because that's not what you deserve. And sure, this person might have reasons for doing the things that they're doing, traumas and fears and insecurities and all of that stuff, but that is not your burden to bear. You are not here to save, fix, or put up with this person's behavior just because of whatever. You are here to experience the love that you are deserving of. And if it doesn't come from this person, all that means is that this person isn't the person who's meant to do it. It's not, it has to be this person or it's no one, okay? But, I know that none of this stuff is easy. So I'm going to hop on over to the extended. You have Trust the Universe with the Death card. I'm going to pull messages looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward to align further with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull at the very end. I'm cutting these love readings a little bit short this week. I keep saying that, and I look at the clock and it's the 27-minute long reading. But I'm not pulling as many cards because I was sick a month ago, and I'm still playing catch up on personal readings. But I don't want to stop doing general readings in order to do that. Because I obviously enjoy doing this. So I'm making them a little bit shorter just so I can still put out quality readings and not drain myself too much. So thank you for understanding on that front. All right, Gemini, thank you so much as always for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Gemini.